Hi, this is Sean D'Souza, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation Podcast. This podcast isn't some magic trick about how to work less. Instead, it's about how to really enjoy the work that you do and to enjoy your vacation time. I'm Sean D'Souza, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation. In the last episode, we looked at the myths of pricing. And the first myth that we tackled was this concept of 7 and 9. We found that companies like Target.com, they don't care about 7 and 9. Go to their website. You'll find out what they're doing. You'll find out that when people fly planes and when they buy houses and when they buy a whole bunch of products, they don't deal with 7 and 9 necessarily. I mean, there are exceptions, but why are we using 7 and 9? So if you haven't figured that out, go to part 1 of the myths of pricing and you'll see why 7 and 9 aren't as great as you think. In fact, you can increase your prices by about 10% if your price line is sitting at 7 or 9, and you know what? You'll get that 10% bonus. So go and check that episode or listen to it again. The second thing that we covered in the last episode was this factor of lower prices. And we looked at so many instances where the prices got lowered, but the sales didn't increase. You might think that lowering your prices is going to increase sales, and that's what you need to pay attention to in the previous episode on myths of pricing. But we're done with episode number 1. If you've listened to that and you've started to take action, well, here's episode number 2. And in episode number 2, we're talking about this concept about your gut feel. Should you price based on your gut feel? Let's find out. Imagine you're in New Zealand right now and you're about to jump off a bridge with a bungee cord, of course. What can you feel in your gut? Yes, that's right, fear. But how do you know it's fear? And more importantly, what would you need to do to get rid of the fear? Remember the fear you had when you first rode a bicycle? You probably don't, but the fear existed. It exists when you're learning to drive a car for the first time, when you're going on a first date, and there's even a trace of fear when you first land a job or show up on vacation. You're in a city that you've never visited before, and the moment you're dealing with that unknown, fear surges to the surface. And yet, you're on autopilot if you're visiting the city for the 20th time. Bicycles don't scare you as much as they should anymore. And driving to the supermarket while juggling a mobile phone isn't something that you should do, but you'll sneak in a call or text anyway. Pricing brings up the same level of queasiness in our systems. And that's the way we justify it, by burying the fear. We bring out our woo-woo systems to the surface, and we say we'll know the price is right based on our gut instinct. But what if your gut instinct is just good old fear? Because you know it is, don't you? And the only way we can prove this point is to take something of value to you, something that you own, and try and sell it. There's zero gut instinct the moment you decide to sell something that is already known. If all the houses in your area are selling at $500,000, would you listen to your gut instinct and sell at $300,000? Never mind that 3 years ago you bought the house at a lower price. You still want to sell at $500,000, don't you? And if you can, you will happily accept $600,000 or $700,000 or whatever they're willing to give you. A client of mine used this gut instinct in his business. he works hard, much too hard, if you ask me. And the reason why he's struggling so much is because he's pricing based on gut instinct. He has to put those products and services on sale on his website. And when he puts those prices up, he feels like he's in the middle of New Delhi. He suddenly has to find his hotel. He can't speak the language. He knows there are helpful folk around, but he's not quite sure. His brain is racing for a situation that's less stressful. A vacation closer to home, perhaps. So he's feeling fear. There is no such thing as gut instinct pricing. We've used a dartboard to price our products and services for well over 12 years. It's a method where you put your prices on a dartboard and then you find some darts. And then you throw them on the board. Of course, beer is involved, whiskey is involved. And then you get your pricing. Now, if that sounds flippant, well, yes it is. But it's a lot less flippant than using your gut instinct. Take, for instance, the cartooning course. When we started the course, it was at no charge. If you felt like it, you gave a gift of an Amazon voucher, but there was no charge. The course was $500 the next year, and today it's priced at almost $1,000. Sure, it goes for about 20 weeks, but it's $1,000. The Photoshop course, which we had for a while, it helps you color your artwork. It's 4 weeks and it costs $500. The article writing course goes for 12 weeks and is about $3,000. The headlines goes for 10 weeks and costs $800. Can you see any pattern here? There is no pattern. A course can go for 12 weeks and cost $3,000. A course can go for 8 weeks and cost $800. A course can go for 6 months and cost $1,000. There is no pattern. So, no matter where you look, there is no logic to pricing at all. And yet, there is fear. Every time we raise the prices, there is enormous fear. When we raised the price of the article writing course, we moved it from $1,500 to where it is today at $3,000. How do you know how much is too much? When we sold the Protégé course at $10,000, how would we know if it was overpriced? The answer lies in fear. You make these price decisions in a vacuum. And the only way out of this fear is to keep pushing yourself out of the comfort zone. You read about the cartooning course we conducted, right? Why offer it free? My clients already know that I'm a good cartoonist. They already know I'm a good teacher. They know that they should be paying a substantial fee for something that's going to take them on a 6-month journey. And yet, I was unsure. I was fearful even. So yes, you can let the fear get a hold of you, and yes, you can price as low as your gut will tell you, but remember, your gut instinct is your comfort zone. It's the lowest price possible that you can afford to charge, and once you've listened to your gut, it's time to move upwards. Raise your prices bit by bit or in large chunks. It depends on what you want to do. There is a system, we call it the yes and yes system, and you can find it on the internet. The point is, move it so that you're comfortable, but move it. As you get amazing testimonials, as you get more confident about your ability to deliver, you need to stop looking towards the gut and start looking towards the dartboard. And this brings us full circle to the end of this podcast. So let's summarize. The first thing that we covered was myth number 1, which is ending prices with 7 or 9. There is no basis for this crazy figure. There is no basis for ending with 7 or 9. Use whatever number you like. it works just as well. Clients are buying stuff one-off. They're looking at it in a vacuum. They're not really looking at your 7s and your 9s. They've already decided that they want to buy it or not buy it. All of it depends on your pre-sale. All of it depends on your reputation. All of it depends on so many other factors. And you can have it as round figures or you can have it above round figures. You can put any figure and it works. The second myth is the lower prices will get you greater sales, and they don't. What matters more is comparison pricing. So the Ardbeg, when you looked at the high-priced Ardbeg and then the low-priced Ardbeg and the middle-priced Ardbeg, then you decide, well, I'm going to pick one of these. And now it's comparison because the lowest priced Ardbeg is still $60. It's not a cheap whiskey, but you decide you still don't want to buy the lowest priced Ardbeg. And so what we have here is a comparison factor. And you have to have that comparison factor in place. The third myth is that you can feel the right price in your gut. No, you never could. That's just fear talking. And once you've sold a product or a service at a higher price, you'll feel that the price is just right, that your gut is right, until you have to raise the prices again and then you feel the fear again, and that's just the fear. So there you go, 3 myths, 3 pricing myths, just like that jacket, that sweater that your parents made you wear when you left just because it was cold outside and you get a cold. It's a myth. Look it up. It's a myth. You get viruses indoors. Go outside. Get rid of the coat. Okay, let's go to the one thing that you can do today. The one thing that you can do today is you can increase your prices without being fearful. And the way you can increase your prices is by using the Yes and Yes system. And I didn't talk about it in this podcast, but it's there on the website. It's there in the book. And the book is called Dartboard Pricing, as you'd expect. So increase your prices using that Yes and Yes system. Increase your prices based on comparison. Increase your prices based on a strategy. And what I would suggest is that you go to Dartboard Pricing. You can find it at psychotactics.com/TTC. What is TTC? It's Trust the Chef, but just type psychotactics.com/TTC. Go and read the book on Dartboard Pricing. And you will find that there is a logic to it. There's a strategy to it. There is no fear involved in it. There is a system where you can take your exact price, whatever you're selling your product or service at, and keep that price and then put a higher price, and customers will pick the higher priced product or service. You don't believe me? Go read Dartboard Pricing and find out for yourself how it's done. And yes, join us in 5000 BC because we're on a trip there every single day. Bunch of introverts. We're all asking questions. We're all having discussions. You want to join us in 5000 BC. The article writing course is now underway. You will not believe how many posts are generated in the article writing course. We are at the end of week number 3 and we have 4,000 posts already. How many people on the course? Just 25. We always take enough so that they can learn rather than get more information. We're concentrating on skill, not information. And when clients, when you feel comfortable, then an article writing course becomes like Facebook. So people are posting all the time, asking questions all the time, getting that skill. And I was talking to someone today, Jonathan Riviera, and we were on chat because that's what happens at 4 a.m. You can't call anyone. And he said, you must push your clients hard. And I said, I don't push them hard, I push them precisely. And that's what the article writing course is about. And this is what all our courses are about. So There are other courses coming up this year. The cartooning course. You think you are not a cartoonist? Wait till you see what happens when you go through the cartooning course. You end up not with more information that you can get at the library, but you end up with skill. So that's at psychotactics.com/DaVinci. So lots of URLs here. What are the URLs? 5000bc.com if you want to join 5000bc. Psychotactics.com/DaVinci or psychotactics.com/TTC. And I've run out of URLs now. That's it from Psychotactics Land. It's almost 6 o'clock, 5:58 a.m. and it's time to go for a walk. Bye for now.